It's time for the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Blake Sloan, one of the top real estate agents, not only on the Grand Strand, but in the world. He's been featured in Forbes magazine, the Wall Street Journal, NBC, and many other publications. And now, the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan.
Good morning, everyone. Brand new show this week. All kind of crazy stuff happened in the market. We'll talk about some big news this week. You guys may have seen President Trump announce some big announcements that really affect the real estate market, real estate world. We'll talk about that. With the brand new final market numbers in from last month and last year. All the data is finally in, and it's where it's pretty accurate. It'll be very close, but some numbers are all over the place. We'll talk about that, kind of what's going on. But it's a huge news from President Trump this week. He said two main things we'll talk about. He said he's going to block institutional investors from buying homes in the United States. Been a lot of talk about that. I'll talk about what's that really going to affect. Is that going to affect our market here? I have a very kind of detailed opinion on that, and also some detailed data on that. And really, it's not going to do much, if anything, at least for our marketplace, what we've seen. In addition to that, though, one thing that we'll talk about, I think, is some huge news, at least in the short term. He's going to have the government offer to buy $200 billion in mortgage bonds in order to get rates down, which I think will drive prices up in the short term. It'll create a little bit more of a frenzy. There's a lot of buyers who are wanting to move. They're locked in low rates. There are a lot of people that just want to move somewhere else that feel trapped. And so I think you're going to see that unlock a lot more action. We'll talk about the details of that in today's show, but we'll really dig into that. Lots of great stuff with that. Overall, in addition to that, our investment fund also just bought another property this week, just bought a property yesterday, closed on it, 5 acres house. Out in Conway, cash, exactly on the terms, the exact date they want, super simple, super fair price. And so if you're thinking about selling with instant cash off, we have investment fund, millions of dollars that will buy property. It's also looking to buy service-based businesses. No one's called me yet. If you're looking to sell anything that's like termite business, pest control business, air conditioning business, reach out. The fund is looking to buy those. In addition to that, our team is growing like crazy. I mentioned last week's show, we're really doubling down for 2026. You've seen a lot of agents get out the business in the last year. I was here on the podcast away here, over 70,000 plus. Just last year already got out. We'll wait to see the final numbers here as they had to renew their MLS dues in December, and many tend to drop out at that point. But lots of great stuff we'll talk about. Really dig into what to look at in terms of what the buying of the mortgage-backed bonds means, what that'll do to the marketplace here. And also had on last week's show some very, very powerful data that didn't have time to get to. Just talks about how Myrtle Beach is the #1 area people are moving to and not moving out of. And it compares the top 10 areas, and Myrtle Beach came in #1 at that list. And we'll look at the actual data of how many people are moving in here versus how many are moving out. And the number is shocking. It really is shocking. So make sure to stay tuned. Lots of great stuff. The same goal we have every single week, which is give you value and give you knowledge of real estate, anything, everything Myrtle Beach real estate, so you can make better decisions with your largest assets, which is for most people real estate. So make sure to stay tuned.
For any new listeners, just to give you an update on just who Blake is, it's an amazing story. Industry leaders have dubbed him the real estate whiz kid. Been featured in Forbes, Wall Street Journal, NBC, Realtor Magazine, and many other national publications. He has been personally endorsed by Sean Hannity and Glenn Beck. One of those by itself is an accomplishment, but all of them together is unprecedented. Last week, we learned a little about how you and your team work and how a good portion of your success has come from the trademark systems you have developed to help both buyers and sellers here in our market. Recap quickly for anyone new to the show what those are exactly and a quick overview of how they work, Blake.
Absolutely, Rick. And again, I know we talk about it every week, but I made a promise a long time ago I'm talking about it every week until I don't have that problem. And guess what? Same exact thing this week happened again. Just people make this massive mistake, and it's the only thing that matters. I can talk about these little nuances here and there, and I can talk about the market, but the market is not the most important thing that matters. And I'm just telling you, I see it over and over and over. The most important thing that matters to anyone when it comes to real estate and selling your property, it comes down to the agent you choose, period, right? People make this mistake of thinking that all agents are just a commodity, right? And so I see it every day. We have hundreds of people that call our office every week, and they ask the wrong question. They ask how much you charge, how much you charge, right? The wrong question. They don't really pick based on the right data, which is what do you do? What makes you different? What's your knowledge? What's your expertise? How can you help differentiate my house from other people's houses? What's your expertise in helping buyers buy these sites? So you want to understand like what's your knowledge? Why? Because it's a knowledge-based business, right? Your success or failure comes down to how well that human executes and how much knowledge they have in their knowledge-based business. You're like a doctor, lawyer, right? If you've had any legal experience, I've had a few, like obviously being in business 20 years, lots of litigation type stuff and people stealing stuff and proprietary things and all this. And I found out very quickly that there's a big difference in attorneys. Some prepare very, very well. Some are very, very detail oriented. Some just show up and fly by the seat of their pants, right? Guess which one's better? The one that's very, very detailed, that understands the process, that's super hungry, that performs well in court, right? It's the same thing. You're talking about your largest asset. The agent you choose matters more than anything, just like a doctor. If I have a life-threatening illness, the last thing I want to do is go onto the doc in the box, right? Who's just going to ask you questions and just write a prescription. I want the absolute best doctor who specializes in that type of medicine, who can help diagnose and fix that issue very, very quickly and effectively, right? It's the same exact thing, but the difference comes down to the human. And so here's the deal. The single most important variable that determines your success or failure as a home seller comes to one thing only. And that thing is the agent that you choose, period. And the reason that is when you're selling a property, there's 118 different variables from A to Z. If each one's handled correctly, it puts money in your pocket, property gets sold. Anything's handled incorrectly, they drop the ball at any point. And that can be anything from pricing strategy, the quality of the photos, the order of the photos. There's literally a difference in order of photos because buyers search by elimination. The first 2, 3, 4 photos have to sell them on looking at the rest of the photos. And if not, the buyer moves on. You see this happen all the time. If you search homes, right? Watch inexperienced realtors or realtors who don't understand marketing. They'll have the first 7 pictures will be all the outside of the house, or they try to order the photos in order of walking through the house. So you have like front of the house, front door, front hallway. Buyers already moved on to the next listing. Why? Because they care about detailed stuff like master bedroom, living room, kitchen, key pieces that people buy or sell properties based on how well that part of the house works. And so you have to know these things, but that only comes through experience, knowledge, and understanding marketing and psychology. And so that's the difference where you can move the needle. Also, other things like, does the agent actually respond to web inquiries online? Do they answer the telephone? If you look at the most recent report I shared a while ago, also in our documentary online, there's a company that's called 3,000 real estate brokerages. Less than half the brokerages they called even called them back. And this is about a buyer trying to buy their property overall. And we just even had this a minute ago. This email just came through. I'm going to read it real time. This is actually real time. It came through. Also, my team sent it. She called in. Her name is Jennifer. Her area code 614. She said she's called several other brokerages this week and no one has gotten back to her. She has X amount of property she wants to sell in Horry County, lives non-local, right? And this just came in on my phone at 11:09 a.m. And so this just comes like over and over and over. What you kind of run into is agents have good intentions, but they just don't have the processes and systems or the time to do that. Why? Because the business model is broken. And so if you look at how real estate works, you have one agent who's working with buyers, they're working with sellers. Well, guess what? Buyers got to work. They got to see 12, 15 properties. They don't buy the first one. That takes a lot of time. Well, if I want to survive in the business, I have to work 12, 15 buyers at the same time. Well, that takes 40 hours a week in itself. Well, guess what? I'm gonna also get listings too. My friend's selling their house. I'm going to list their house. I got to do market analysis, go to the house, do the CMA, sit down with them. Right. Then most agents take their own photos with their cell phone. They put it in MLS. They schedule showings, get showing feedback, all that stuff. They got to negotiate the contract. Then they got to do the home inspection negotiation. Then they got to do all the closing tasks. Like, it's impossible for one single person to do all of that. It's like having the same person at McDonald's doing the front register, the drive-thru, and fries at the same time. And then people wonder why the execution and the experience is not good. And so when I got in the business, I'm like, there's got to be a better way to do this. And so I looked at what people did outside of real estate and regular traditional brick and mortar businesses and brought that into real estate, where we have a team of specialists. Each person specializes in what they do. We have inside salesperson, outside salesperson. We have VIP concierge who make sure that they get the Chick-fil-A service. When they come in, that lead gets called within 2 minutes. For example, when he sent that lead, our VIP concierge has been with me 10 plus years, Joe, he responded back within 2 minutes and reached out to them, right? That's what you have to have, because meanwhile, I'm at the radio station. And so that's why it's important to make sure that you have system and process and people in place. We have a team of buyer specialists, 25 plus buyer specialists. They make over 10,000 phone calls per week, listing specialists, listing coordinators. So the reality is, you want people who actually at the highest level at every single point, because that's where leverage is created. And if that ball gets dropped, it costs you hard-earned equity. If you want to know more how that program works and the detail about that process, and it really just shows you behind the curtains of our industry and what happens. And a lot of agents aren't happy about that, but you can watch that detailed documentary we have. It's at BlakeSloan.com. It's right there on the main page. You can also see it at SloanRealtyGroup.net, our other main page that we have. And it's right there for you. And it breaks down exactly how the industry works, exactly what we do differently. And it's a must watch for anybody looking to buy or sell properties, because guess what? For buyers out there, it's the same exact problem. One agent trying to do all the balls. And so you have to have someone who can give you the time, the attention, and the experience that you need. And so we designed this thing called the Unfair Advantage Home Buying System. Priority access to foreclosure, distress sales, desperate sellers, the absolute best advisement and negotiation in the purchase process, as well as their home inspection to get you that close table successfully. And we even also help make sure to support after you buy it, because we want to be a real estate resource for life. So guess what? You buy the property, then you have things happen like a plumbing leak or a sink leaks or electrician issue, or right, I need a landscaper. We have all that covered, and we're able to give our people the absolute best connections and prices because of how much volume we do. And so if you want to know more how it works, you owe it to yourself. Reach out, call us 843-808-SOLD. If you take anything from this show, just know the most important decision you ever make when it comes down to your house comes down to the agent you choose and how well they execute. So we'll be right back in a second.
With the only real estate agent in your market that I recommend, Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group. Thanks for joining me today. A lot of real estate companies are making instant offers these days. What makes yours different from what they're offering?
Hey, Sean, that's such a great question. The massive difference is we actually buy your house. Most of those advertisements you hear, even on the same station, are wholesalers. They're just there to lock your property up at a discount price and try to assign it to someone else, make money off your hard-earned equity. Then they leave you hanging at the closing table if they can't find someone else. They never had any intention of closing. Most don't even have the money to close if they wanted to. We're local, we have billions of dollars, and we actually close the deal.
All right, thanks for keeping us up to date. Find out how much demand your home can command right now. Call the agent that creates the most demand. Call Blake Sloan today at 808-SOLD or online at blakesloan.com. That's blakesloan.com. And consider your home sold.
Hi, I'm Barbara Corbett. I'm excited to connect with Blake Sloan, only real estate agent in Myrtle Beach that I recommend. We offer several options to home sales, which really takes away the stress.
That's right. For sellers in a time crunch, you can agree to sell it by a certain date, take cash for your home, or even rent it.
That's great. And if the seller has a bit more time,
Use our proven marketing plan to sell it for the highest price.
work with my friend Blake Sloan and get your home sold on your terms.
Welcome back, Blake Sloan radio show. Ready to market update, all kind of crazy stuff in real time. I'm just going to go ahead and jump ahead because huge news just came across the internet here. We mentioned the announcement from Trump coming in. They also had the jobs report today. Today, right now, interest rates just dropped 22 basis points in today, which is unbelievable. 5.99, the first time I've seen it in the five since I can remember. It's been a very, very, very long time. So a 30-year fix right now, 5.99%. Unbelievable. You're about to see the market go on fire. We've been saying over and over, so many buyers have been sitting on the sidelines, and they're really, the threshold mentally is 5.99%, which is amazing news for home sellers. If you think about selling, you better get it in gear. There's a small window here, and you're going to see prices jump up like crazy. And so that's in my opinion. You see 22 basis points in one day, huge. And so that's something we'll kind of look at either way. 15-year fix right now, 5.55%, down 19 basis points just today, which is amazing. A 30-year jumbo hasn't really updated yet, still showing 6.35%. You'll see that update at the end of the day. 30-year FHA down 21 basis points right now, which is amazing. They're pegged to the green, meaning like how much the drop is overall. 5.63, and a 30-year VA loan right now, 5.65%, down 20 basis points. So huge news right now. I'm telling you, the threshold everyone across the country has been talking about to really change this market as into fives, because it's a mental block for a lot of people. Very, very, very important. Big news here. So you're thinking about selling, definitely get your property in the market ASAP. If you're thinking about buying and you want to kind of protect your ability to buy, I'd suggest getting in sooner rather than later. Reach out to us. More than happy to help guide you through that and to help you get the absolute best interest rates possible. We talked about two types of numbers in the show. Review mirror numbers, that's what closed last month. That's what we'll talk about today. We have the front windshield numbers, which is like what's going pending last 7 days. Last week was kind of just a little bit of a different week because it had New Year's holiday and just agents aren't working during that. We were, but a lot of agents didn't work New Year's Day, New Year's Eve, and then the weekend after that. So it's a little bit slower. There's still 396 properties under contract, 148 million. There's 8 properties or $1 million. $3.9 million on the water under contract. But I want to focus on the closed deals. They've actually gone up since last week. Last week's show, we didn't have all the final numbers in, right? So we talked about closed sales for single family resale homes was up 17% for resale homes. Right now, with all the data in, it's up 21.3% from the same time last year. So huge jump. And that's crazy. So if we go back to December 2024, there were 385 properties closed. December 2025, 467, a 21% increase overall in the amount of houses sold. So pricing, we know, is always a lag indicator. So guess what? You're probably going to see, you see a 20% increase in sales. Guess what comes later on? Prices. So we'll probably see that rise here the next 12 months for sure. But right now, median price up 6.6% last month versus the same month last year, 405,000, which is tied at an all-time high, where the all-time high was made 2024. It's been bouncing around there. Now we're right back up to it, which is great news. Average sale price up 10% last month, a new all-time high. Before, the all-time high was 520,000. Right now, $560,824, which is wild, right? It's wild to see. So you're talking, check this out. If you go back to November, it was 483. December to 560. So huge jump there. It's one of the biggest jumps I've ever seen since doing this show, which we do every week for 14, 15 years, which is crazy. Months of supply down dramatically, 4.3 months of inventory. It was peaked out early in June this year at 5.5 months. And so that means less supply. We know sales up 20%, inventory is down significantly. It's still a seller's market. So that's great news for sellers out there. Hopefully a little breath of fresh air for sure. Average days on market, 109 days on market, down a little bit from 110 the previous month, which is awesome. Still the main challenge, though, showings per listing. The average listing only had 2.5 showings the entire time it's listed. So how many showings did it take on average to get a contract? It took 12.7. So average listing gets 2.5, takes 12.7. You see the problem there, right? Almost really what? 4 times the amount of showings that the average listing got to actually get a contract. That's why so many aren't selling. So if you're just sitting there, it's either one or two things: the marketing of the realtor, they're not getting it out there. Buyers are seeing it, but not really pulling the trigger. And you can tell by that based on online traffic. So if you get a lot of online traffic, it means you're doing pretty good, right? Or it means it may not look well in terms of photos, things like that. But there's two things: the marketing or the price. And so you always want to really kind of understand that and break down the data, not just have the agent tell you it's just price, right? If you look at condos been getting hammered here lately. But the good news is they bounced back last month a little bit. Last month, closed sales for resale condos up 2.0%. The bad news is prices down significantly. Last month, average sale price for condos down 10.2%. Median price down 9.1%. So that's significant, right? The condo market struggle. We've seen some buildings 12, 13, 14 listings in it. And we had somebody who joined us recently, had a listing that they brought over, and it was in a complex that there was 11 properties listed in the condo complex. They were priced number 10, meaning there was 9 under that were less money for a similar size condo. Obviously, a couple of different views, different floors, but the reality is, and they were asking, hey, why is it selling? Well, there's actually 9 other ones that are similar to yours that are in upwards $40,000, $50,000 less. That's the major problem, right? And so what happens, you see in the condo market, sometimes one gets listed at, let's say, 180. The next one gets listed at 170 because the other one's not selling either. And so you just want to make sure you understand that is somewhere the agent can really make a difference for you in terms of that, because the condo market, like days on market, 126 days on market on average to sell. The major problem too is just lack of showings. Right now, the average condo listing that's a resale condo, meaning not new construction, gets 1.4 showings the entire time it's listed. How many does it take to get a contract? 8.4. And so you can see the challenge there overall with 5 to 6 times as many showings needed as the average listing gets. Supply, there's 7.3 months of inventory on the market right now. And so lots of stuff there to really kind of choose from if you're a buyer, right? So it means it's a buyer's market. Anything over 6 months is a buyer's market. The good news is inventory is down a little bit. It peaked out in May at 8.8 months. Right now, it's 7.3. It was August was 8.7, and it's gone down since then, and a big jump from November, December. Some of that has to do with just the holidays. People take their property off temporarily. But for example, November had 8.1 months, December 7.3 months. And so if I'm thinking about selling, I'm telling you, they're going to see a massive jump. There's so many, there's millions. I did a previous show about how many millions of buyers are on the sidelines waiting for the affordability to come down in terms of interest rate. And they're really at the threshold when it makes a lot of sense. So the problem is you're going to see prices jump back up because they've held strong. Myrtle Beach, for example, if I go back really quick, I'll just hit the key number here for resale homes. If you go last 12 months, I'll hit the key number. If you go the entire year, closed sales ended up 6.5%. So the Myrtle Beach market actually held its own, didn't go backwards. Average sale price was flat, up 0.9% for the year, so it didn't go backwards. So we didn't lose money, which is good. And median price also up 0.9% in the last 12 months at $387,000 and $494. So huge news. December, one of the biggest jumps we've ever seen month versus month. And then additionally, we just saw one of the biggest drops we've seen in terms of interest rates that just hit recently. They're huge news. So we'll have a little more about that. Take a quick break, right back in a second with a hot buyers alert and a more update on interest rates.
One or two?
How much time I got?
Oh, we got 10 minutes.
2 is fine.
Hey, WRNN listeners, Clay Travis here. As investors in real estate, Buck and I both know exactly what to look for to find the agent with the best tools and marketing to get the highest sales price possible for a home.
Totally true, Clay. And here in Myrtle Beach, that agent is our friend Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group. If you need to sell a home and buy a new one, ask Blake about his guarantee.
Get this, Blake guarantees to sell your home at a price and deadline you agree to, or he'll buy it himself. And since you know when your current home will sell by and for how much, you can buy your next home without worrying about getting stuck with 2 mortgages.
There's simply no other agent in the market who has a guarantee that will line up against what Blake Sloan can offer you. So when you're looking to sell and buy, he is your guy. Read nearly 750 5-star reviews by Googling Sloan Realty Group. Give Blake a call today and start packing. That's Sloan Realty Group.
And tune in to Blake's shows Saturdays at 9 a.m. and Sundays at 11:30 a.m.
Hey, Myrtle Beach, it's Gary LaBox, lead singer of Rascal Flatts. When I'm Moving On won the award for ACM Song of the Year, it struck a chord with those who understand the challenges that come with life's big changes. For many, that happens when it comes time to sell their home. If you're moving on, you want a real estate agent who will make selling your home easy and stress-free. An agent who's willing to let you out of the contract if you're not happy with their service. That's why in Myrtle Beach, I can tell you that Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group markets your home on a whole different level. Now listen, Blake is so confident in his ability to sell your home quickly and for more money that he guarantees to sell it or he'll buy it himself. If you're moving on, trust Blake to provide your family a stress-free home sale experience. Find Blake Sloan online at blakesloan.com.
You'll have about 7 minutes.
Perfect.
43808-SOLD. Start packing.
Welcome back, Blake Sloan, Real Estate Show. Brand new market up. Sorry, brand new buyer alert coming in. I was wanting to cover one thing really quick. I went back just live, and the last time rates were that low, just quick scan, August 27, 2022, which is crazy. So a long time, August 27th, before. So basically, that was the last time it went over 6. 2022. So huge news here. And hopefully we may see that drop even more, which is amazing. But we'll talk about that. You're going to see lots more buyers jump in. But one thing we do every week, put our money where our mouth is and share our hot buyers alert. Most agents, they don't really do anything until they put the sign in the yard and they hope someone comes along and buys it. The difference between us is we have what we call buyers in waiting. I spend over $100,000 a month in marketing, month after month after month. They're driving traffic from all across the globe. And right now, active home buyers, 81,917 active home buyers. Again, 81,917 active home buyers from all over. So I got Peter Campbell from Neptune, New Jersey. I got Adam from Conway, South Carolina. Deb from Salisbury, North Carolina. Here we go. Leroy McBride from Seattle, Washington. I got Jamie Grimes from Princeton, West Virginia. I got Beth from New London, Connecticut. Here we go. Bretland Mello from Elk Grove, California. I got Sue Price, Durham, North Carolina. Tom from Richmond, Virginia. Mooresville, PA. Myrtle's Inlet. Troutville, Virginia. So lots of cool Brooklyn, New York here. And so why do I share that? Because we have buyers from all across the globe. And so we have what we call buyers in waiting. Our sales team makes 10,000 phone calls per week. And obviously we have one goal, match up buyers and sellers. The cool thing about it, we have an algorithm, which is like an AI type software that reverse engineers the most likely buyer for your property based on their previous search patterns. And it scores them on a scale of 1 to 100. So basically 96% match, 97% match. We call them. We say, hey, Peter, guess what? We got this brand new listing. It's in XYZ neighborhood. Match what you're looking for. Do you want to take a look at it? So we're moving the needle by hustling, by pushing, where most agents just sit back and pray and hope that someone else actually brings a buyer to them. which obviously is what makes it drag out, which makes it take longer. And so if you're thinking about selling, you want to go with someone who's aggressive like that, who can push, who can move that needle. And that's what we're known for. We don't apologize for that. But if you want to know how it works, like I said, you watch my documentary at blakesloan.com. You can also call me. We're hustling right now, hustling this weekend. You better believe we're going to work a lot harder, knowing that rates just dropped back into the fives as well. Really quick, awesome success story. Richard owned a home with a bunch of land on it in Loris. It's been his family for a very, very long time. It's a cool story. They originally were going to build a big family estate on it. Over 16 acres, but their family plans changed. It's really cool, though. They decided it's best for them to kind of sell. Richard's daughter heard about us from the radio, which is really cool, and also on TV. She knew exactly who to call first. She told Richard to call us. Thankfully, he called us. We came in. We shared with him. We have hundreds of buyers looking at properties just like his on a lot of acreage, very high end, a lot of acreage, and came in. I designed a custom plan, launched our gold marketing blitz, professional photos, virtuality walkthrough, drone photography. Obviously, with acreage, you want to be able to show that off. Drove massive traffic in a couple of weeks. Had a fantastic offer on their property. They were blown away. Now they're able to move on to their future plans with maximum equity in their pocket, which is super cool. So big shout out to them. Thank you for reaching out. Thanks for telling your dad to call us, because we were able to execute at the highest level, which is super cool. Also, Andy and Brittany had a house for sale in Carolina Forest over 6 months, only a few showings, no offers. Massive frustration. They're moving back up north, be close to their family. They almost gave up. They were recommended to me by an amazing radio listener. I came in, immediately identified the problem, which was just the marketing. It was not very good at all. Designed a custom plan, launched a gold marketing blitz, professional photos, massive traffic, had under contract within 2 weeks. They're blown away as well. Back up north with family with maximum equity. So if you want to be a part of that type of success story, you want to gamble with the largest asset, reach out, call us. We're here. I'm hustling. We're working 843-808 sold. No one's crazy enough to spend 6 figures a month in marketing to get the job done. And thankfully, we built a business model that supports that. That's super, super helpful to get you the leverage that you need. Couple quick minutes. I want to talk about two main things. One's affordability issue, right, which people have kind of been talking about a lot. Huge news that just came out with that. One of the big challenges, so housing affordability is supposed to take center stage 2026 in President Trump's announcement, the most aggressive housing reform in history early in the year. And it talked about the crisis has really driven up prices. A new analysis says that restoring 2019 affordability would take 21% of their median income. It's way more than 30 today. And mortgage rates would have to fall to 2.65%, or incomes rising 56%. Or home value prices dropping 35% to be able to make that a reality for most people. And obviously, that's not happening anywhere, right? And so one of the things we've really run into is the affordability piece. But Trump just made that big announcement. There's a big job market announcement today. And so the cool part about it is you're seeing he announced they're going to buy $200 billion in mortgage bonds, which will help obviously offset prices a little bit for mortgage-backed securities, because ultimately it makes it a little more desirable to invest in those. And so here's the key headline: Trump orders U.S. government to buy $200 billion in mortgage bonds, aiming to drive down mortgage rates, which is super cool. And I've talked to a bunch of friends, have a couple of great people, and just to give you kind of a great analysis from a good friend of mine. He said, "You're thinking about buying a house in your future, please read this." And it talks about the breakdown, looking back, what's going to happen. If this happens, prices will go up. Unless a lot of other things change, just short help on affordability, but long term, it's going to make prices go up again, which is true, right? Bring down rates, people can get in and afford it, but there's a small window for that, because prices go up as more people buy. And so, simple terms, right? A small window to get in the house where you potentially can skillfully negotiate, and also get a little bit of price off there, but prices will go up long term. And so if you're thinking about buying, you want to catch up this window when prices haven't jumped up yet, and you still have some affordability in terms of not multiple offers, not seeing 10, 15% per month, which we've seen in the past. And so if you want to know how to navigate this as a seller, I'm going to help our seller clients reach out to all of them and tee it up perfectly to make sure they can time it right, to make sure it's positioned right, so they can capture a hot market that's not sitting in the market. So if you're worried about your property, if it sat in the market before for 6-8 months, now's the time to get it back. You always want to tee it up right when the club is swinging. And right now, you're seeing that club swing in. Lots of buyers are going to jump back in. Millions of buyers across the country have been waiting for it to get below 6%. And that's exactly what happened today. And so if you want to know how to navigate it, reach out, call me, 843-808 sold, or blakesloan.com. Working here all weekend. See you soon.
fix that plug of yours.
I appreciate that. My windows, I lost my windows here. I can't get them back up.
At 9 a.m. and Sundays at 11:30 a.m.
Hey, Myrtle Beach, it's Gary LaVox, lead singer of rap. Challenges that come with life's big changes. For many, that happens when it comes time to sell their